Check your grades and canvas on your iPad. Open your first one or two sets of definitions. Because it's almost Saturday. Did you put my tonight? Yes, I did that. Give it a minute. I ain't been on it the whole week. Ladies, thank you. You eat better making the trash, please. What I used to do is take your, log in it down and take your, Google Docs, and your docs and your grab. Okay, you have one more minute to be closing your books. Don't even check your grades in Canvas because I haven't graded anything over the break. You can complete your ER. So on your iPad, complete your ER. Please quit holding that switch. You press it for a few seconds and let it go on your computer load. You don't hold the power button. Conversation on row 2 and 3. Unlike usual, I've given you instructions. I didn't wait for you to change on your own. All right, let me, while you're doing your ER, talk to you about today's assignment. Then I'm going to sort of switch gears and go back. And we're going to review some definition terms. All right, today's assignment is to create or upload a picture of your backdrop or your setting for your first stage in your game. Your game is done in what they call storyboards of sections or frame wires, where you do, this is the first thing my sprite's going to do. This is the second thing that's going to happen. This is the third thing. So what you did at first, when you created your backdrop, when you put your sprites in, and when you set up the scene, that's your first one and that's your background. That's what you're uploading today. So once you log into Scratch, if you will screenshot that picture of your first scene, you turn that in today for a grade. Does that make sense? I think on the 28th, we turned in our game picture, which is what's going to be on our cover page. This is not the same thing. Thumbs up if you got it. Thumbs to the side if I need to do a little bit more talking to you. Okay. All right. All right. So when you're doing your ER, my computer should be dinging. I don't hear them dinging yet. So I'm assuming that you're still getting to the ER. If you got your iPad, you don't need your desktop. You can get to the ER on your iPad while your desktop loads. Your books, there you go, I hear it now. Your books should be closing. Books should be closing. Games should be closed. Should be completing your ER. Then I want you to open your first and second set of definitions we have to do. That's what we're going to talk about. Notice I see the smiling and the Small conversation. I'm not even fit to entertain it. That ain't where I'm at in life today. We're not gonna do that. I came to the conclusion over the break, before the break. Either you want it or you don't. And if you want it, you can get serious and you're gonna get it. If not, I'm not gonna open your mouth and spoon feed it to you. We just won't do that. I won't put my pressure up not there another day about a student that's not interested. When I got about 25 in here that really want to get it, those 25 will get it. And so your definitions are open. This is an interactive conversation, which is why I want your definitions open. I'm going to talk to you about computer storage and memory device. All right? You've completed the definitions of these. You did chapter 1 definition. What is a computer? Somebody, anybody, what is a computer? What was the definition of a computer? I said 5 minutes ago, open your definition. Yes, ma'am.
A computer machine that can store process value.
It can store, process, value, or data. Good job. It's a machine that can store, process data. All right, so when we start talking about storage, there's different types of storage. All right, and that's what we're going to sort of get into today. But I told you, I think I told this class, if not, let me make sure. There's a cycle to the way the system works. You can use your keyboard and type in your information. Some of you type in your passwords and stuff. The central processing unit or processor, the CPU, thinks about what you typed in. All right, and then it gives you an output on your monitor. You look at the output. No, I don't like it. You can come back. You can input some different information. It processes it again, and it gives you another output. That's the basic cycle. Input information, the computer processes it, and then it gives you an output. Now you can input information more than with the keyboard, right? What else can we use to input information? Talk to me, Michelle. The mouse, all right, and then it'll process that too. That's a click, a right click, however you want to do it. Then it gives you an output. Output we automatically think about on our desktop, our monitor, but where's another place we can get an output? It can be saved to a CD, so that can end up being an output unit. But we can also get a hard copy, right? So it can print it for us. Now, when we start talking about storage, that's when you want to start looking at your CDs and your floppy disks, your USBs, those type things. All right? Good job, Ms. Young. I'm glad you all got you in class. Maybe you go two with you on that short. All right? So now, let's talk about the main memory of the system. In the main memory, this is directly accessible by the CPU. Exactly, direct. Now there are different sections to the main memory. All right, and the first one we talk about is the cache. The cache is set up right next to it. When your computer automatically loads, you see it go through you get a script, black and white, it's pulling from the cache. It's trying to see what's there. So it can automatically figure out what to load. Then there's the registry, and the registry has the same type of information. All right, it holds information and it pulls real quickly so you can get your information. Now, it doesn't hold a lot of information. It'll hold the small stuff. If you realize that you cut your computer on and it's moving real slow, it means that it's scattered the memory, it has scattered the information across the place. You may want to clear your cache and pull everything a little closer together so it can run a lot faster. So if you try to log in and it's moving real slow, you can go make a whole sandwich and come back and it's still logging in, but it's not it's not lagging because of the network speed. It's lagging because of your computer, then you want to clear your cache or clean your cache. Okay? And then it'll put everything closer together and then it'll pull and load it a whole lot faster. Does that make sense? Thumbs up if you got me, row 2. I'm missing some people. All right. Okay. So with that being said, the CPU, which is the central processing unit, this is the heart of the computer. We used to always say it's the brain of the computer. It does the thinking or the processing for the computer. That's why it's a processor or mini processor. Does that make sense? On your computer, it's about 1 inch, 2 inches, and it's gonna be it's gonna be stuck to the motherboard. The motherboard is green, that looks like that, but that's not quite it. You've seen it when we went through it on the pictures, when I showed you the pictures of Pinterest. All right, so we stuck to the motherboard. However, on your watch or on your cell phone, it's small. It may be 1/2 inch, 1/4 of an inch, Okay, or an inch. It won't be as big as on the CPU, but it's still there and it still does the processing for the entire system. All right, it does the thinking for you. It has three parts. It has an ALU, which is a arithmetic logic unit. It has a control unit, and it has a registry unit. If you wanted to tap your watch and say 2 plus 2, the registry takes it, breaks it down. The control unit sends it, bring it back, and sends it to and bring it back, and then it restores you and give you your answer. That's a process we'll go over a little later. All right. So when we start talking about the cache, we just had that conversation. Cache is temporary. It doesn't store any information for you. It loads when you bring your computer up. You don't change it. All right. That's called volatile, which means it's temporary. Nothing in there is kept forever. All right. Nothing you put in there is kept forever. It changes out based upon what you use the most frequently. If you're using Microsoft frequently, it'll store for Microsoft. If you're using Pinterest frequently, it'll store for Pinterest. If you're using Internet Explorer, it'll store for Internet Explorer. So it loads that information from that program faster for you every time you use it. So it changes based upon what you're using, but it's not something that you can change, okay? Now let's talk about primary storage. Primary storage has two parts that we're going to talk about. That's ROM and RAM. What is ROM? What is RAM? Somebody on row 2 or row 3. What is RAM? You can get ROM. But while they're looking, give me ROM and give me RAM.
ROM is so RAM is like the storage and ROM is the data.
Both of them is storage, but there are two different types of storage. What does RAM stand for? Somebody, you got your notes. It's in your definitions. What does RAM stand for? RAM. No, ma'am, Miss Young. I know you ready. You're going to get a Patriot book too, because you're on it today. RAM, what does it stand for? You can Google it if you want to. Got your iPad.
Random access memory.
Random access memory. And it's just that. It pulls quickly. All right? It's temporary. It stores on a stick on your motherboard. It's a long stick. And it stores information. 4 gigabytes, 8 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes of information. Don't hold a whole lot. All right, talk to me, Michael. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right, good question. This question, what's the difference between RAM and SD cards? All right, the RAM is used to retrieve information immediately. All right, it pulls it real quick. It pulls some programs and stuff that you may have up there that you're using, and it stores the information that you have in storage real quick, real quick. Don't hold a lot of information, but it'll pull it fast. If it's not there, first the computer, when you log it in, it tries to see if it's in the cache. If it can't find it in the cache, remember that's the stuff that's loading real fast, then it'll go to the ROM. The RAM, and look for it in the RAM. And then if it don't find it in the RAM, it'll let you know. All right, so now you're in the RAM and you got your stuff and you pulled it, random access memory. Then you go to the ROM. What does ROM mean? ROM is not random access. ROM is ROM. Hold on, I'm right here. What does ROM mean? I'm right here. What does ROM mean?
Read only memory.
Read only memory. Read only memory. This here holds the information. It's not temporary. The RAM, when you cut the computer off, everything is wiped out. It's like I can add 2 plus 2 today. When I go home and come back tomorrow, I don't know what 2 plus 2 is. That's RAM. ROM is if I add 2 plus 2 today and I come back tomorrow or next week, I still know what 2 plus 2 is. All right? So now this is permanent memory. It's slow, but it keeps the data when the power is lost. It's non-volatile. It's a chip. It's not a long stick. It's a chip on the motherboard. All right? You can change the ROM information of what's in the memory, but it's a slow, tedious process. All right? Now, this is used when you boot the computer. So now it's looking at everything in the register. It's pulled your information for your programs to load as best as it could. You've logged into everything, and now you're trying to open the actual software program. You're trying to boot the program. This is where it's all coming in at. Now what we're gonna look at is, we got into the RAM, the quick memory, we went into the ROM and pull out the stuff that we needed, so we got the program open. Now, the question for Michael was, what is the SD card? This is where we get into it. SD card is a solid state drive. Solid state drive. It holds your information and it's non-volatile. It's permanent. It keeps the information at all times. It's a subcategory of your memory. But with these, you can usually take them and go with them. All right. So we're talking about flash sticks, SD cards. We're talking about hard drives. Everybody see? Remember these? We're talking about DVDs, CDs. All of those are considered storage devices. All right. Now DVDs and CDs read by either optical light, because they scratch on the disc when you store your information, and then it goes back across and it reads the ups and the downs. And we're gonna go to binary stuff when we start talking about that. The ones and the zeros. If the surface is flat, there's nothing there. That's a, if you wrote in the surface as a dip, that's a what? Binary, ones and zeros. If the surface is flat, it's a zero. If it's a dip in the surface, it has to be a 1. So that means there's information there to be read. That's how they read from the disk. Does that make sense? Okay. So you're looking at a flat surface. All this is a 0. But if there's one dip in it, then it's a 1. So now what happens is we start to drop our disk, we start to scratch our disk, then we start to destroy our information. So you have to be real careful. That's how a lot of people like a flash drive versus a CD or DVD. DVD and CD can hold more, but people prefer the stability of a flash drive. Now notice that this is all in your memory. And as the speed increases, the size go down. So that means that the speed for the cache and the registry is slow, the size is a little bigger. The speed for the RAM and the ROM is getting faster, and the size is getting, okay. You with me? So on secondary memory, this is what I remember. The 2 plus 2 is 4. All right? When I come back tomorrow, I still remember 2 plus 2 is 4. This is, like I said, the SD cards, the flash drives, the optical drives, the memory cards. This is external memory that we can take and bring back. It's slower than the main memory. It's slower than the ROM and the RAM, but it stores your data permanently. Are there any questions about the memory? Now, how do the computer get the information? Real quick, and then I'm out your way. Is that the wire